Hello, everybody. Welcome back, all you nerds and turds, to Nutz podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Stephen Fontana, and with me, as always, he's over there. He's Andy Asimakis. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I love doing a show post-interview because there's energy in the air.
Yeah.
Already.
I thought you were going to fall asleep. Like, you looked like you were a sleepy boy.
Yeah, it's been a long week, dude.
Yeah.
I keep asking my boss, when is the other person on our team going to come back from vacation, but they've already quit.
Oh, no.
But that's like the joke, like, when's you going to come back again? And he's like, okay. I am very much drowning in work right now. And between like work and home and this and then the showcase, which is like a whole other huge thing to like monitor throughout the day.
Oh, it's exhausting. Let me ask you this, Andy.
Yes, please go ahead.
If you had this other person, does that other person work when you don't, or is it just your load gets split when you're working together?
We can split the load. Like, okay, here's the project. Let's both tackle it. I'll do this aspect. You do the other aspect.
Okay.
Great. But this is like, I'm getting all the emails.
Yeah.
And I'm doing all the parts myself. And it was fun for the first 3 weeks of this after she quit. But now it's like things are ramping up.
And that's the word you're going with.
Yeah, because I felt like, listen, I got a brand new office. I felt like empowered. I felt so focused. Great. I saw you one time. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah, that was awesome.
I gave you presents. It was a great week.
All I'm saying is, Andy, $1.35, and I'll be your partner. All right, let's get into the show, ladies and gentlemen. This is Indie's Nuts Podcast, the internet's #1 indie gaming news, previews, and reviews podcast that you've never listened to. I have the crossplay overlay up, I just realized. Oh, God. We're going to start this show over again.
Who's all over again? No, you got to keep going.
It's destroyed. What is happening?
You got to keep going on this week's show.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, we are the best. Oh, I'm dizzy now. I got the kind of laugh. I got the kind of laugh going on that complete. Oh, Andy. Oh my God. What has happened to me? Where is Oh my. Oh, I did that whole overlay thing.
You had a whole thing. I thought that you were ready to rock and roll.
So did I.
We're all Gucci.
Oh my God. Okay.
Not so
Let's
much.
see. Where am I? No, that's not the right one. Oh my God.
This is still the pre-show. At this point.
I guess
that's the pre-show.
I guess
so,
this
listen,
is the pre-show.
I'm gonna address something you said before.
Right.
I don't want you to worry too much about it.
Okay.
I think we're fine. So you mentioned like a little bit ago how I appeared a little bit sleepy. In that interview. Something happened midway through.
Oh, did your edible kick in?
that distracted me a little bit until I realized, wait, things are fine, because if it wasn't fine,
there we go.
I wouldn't be here. So while we were chatting,
yes,
I got an alert on my computer that I've been signed out of Zoom.
And
I'm like, hold on, I'm still on the Zoom.
I'm currently zooming.
They can both still hear me. So I'm like, is this okay? Like, I'm sure Steven's capturing all the audio because we're still talking on his end.
You went into like the third dimension.
Yeah, I was like a little preoccupied because I was like having a moment.
Oh man. Let's get this train back on the tracks. Ladies and gentlemen, we are nuts about indies and we're going to bring them to you. That's right. And it's simple. The reason why you should trust us is because we've interviewed like 300 developers on the Dual Screens podcast, and we are doing an indie game showcase, Andy. Isn't that right?
Dude, this is going to be a thing.
a big thing.
It is whatever the vision was originally, like our ideas,
scope
like
creep.
It's there's been a little bit of scope creep. The scale has grown. In talking to folks, our world has opened up a little bit, and it's getting to a point where I feel nervous. And I usually leave that to you. That's your thing. It's like, I'm the calm parent.
Yeah, sure.
I have to be like grounded for both of us, so you can go, so you can vomit in a corner. But I'm getting like the butterflies now, and we're gonna be closing in on a month away soon from this thing.
Yeah, it's scary, but trailers are coming in.
So, I know it's exciting, and
it's becoming real.
A little submission form being filled out of like all the details, and people are reliable.
And somebody pretty cool has reached out to us about doing something else with the showcase that is top secret, double probation. But we will, once we get the details ironed out.
We just need to, get it.
We will know more by this weekend. Put it that way.
The wherewithal of how to do it.
The who, what, where, when, how to do it. Yes. But we can't do any of it without your support, guys and girls. So please consider heading to go. Consider going to patreon.com/dual-screens, just like our Patreon producer, Colton, the Apprentice Nestler, and FNH Paul. Folks, we can't continue to grow without all of your support, and you are helping us immensely. And it was thanks to our Patreon supporters and friends like you that we were able to upgrade my camera situation. Look how cool I look. Look how good I look. I look so nice.
You look semi-attractive today.
I look quasi-attractive. It's true. But enough of all that. Enough of the rigmarole. Enough of the hoopla, as it were. Let's get into the meat and potatoes here, Andy. Forget about your thumb for a minute.
Sure.
Tell us what's new on dualscreens.com, because we have something pretty cool coming soon.
Are you talking about the showcase?
No. I'm talking about...
Oh, wait! The website itself?
Yes.
Oh!
Yes, dualscreens.com. What's new?
So I feel like dualscreens.com is going to be new, is what you want to say.
Yeah.
So I think ever since we talked about showcase and us taking this thing, we take it seriously-ish. It's not like we don't care. Like, we care a lot about the show and you and all the stuff. But we wanted to like put our best foot forward presentation-wise, and like our website was more like it was a bit of a place to host all of our content. Like, okay,
right,
here's the articles, they can live here.
It was a landing page.
Yeah. I was gonna say dumping ground, but that sounds much nicer. But a kind friend of mine who was a huge fan of the show and a huge fan of me was like, I love your stuff, but this website needs like an overhaul in the looks department. I will do that for you because I like you and your stuff at no charge. And I was like,
your Patreon money coming in hand, folks.
Don't speak any further. Yeah. just do it. So he's done something which we think looks pretty great. It looks very sleek, clean, professional, and it's going to launch very, very soon. I would say by next week it should be up and running, looking super sexy, and we're very excited to unveil it.
I saw the staging site today, and I'm very excited for what it looks like. It's going to be good stuff. It's going to give us a level of professionalism that I think we have lacked.
We've been dodging it, I feel.
Yeah,
and I think it's been a way for us to be like, well, this isn't like our real job. It's we do like as it's. Listen,
it's also not our strength. Like, that's the other thing. Like,
it isn't.
We are not.
Believe it or not, this is the strength.
believe it or not, if you lasted the first 3 minutes with me having the wrong overlay, not having my camera source, this is where we are our very best. So go to patreon.com/dualscreens and give us money. Anyway, keep your eyes on the prize, folks. But let's go into the indie game adventures. Indie games are a thing that's happening now. Matt is not with us because he was poisoned.
Yeah, that's literally
not
poison.
A joke. He was literally poisoned at his place of work.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Accidentally, but also kind of negligently, and I'm hoping he sues for many dollars.
Yes.
So if that happens, you did not hear it here because we cannot speak about current legal proceedings at this point.
But ongoing criminal investigations.
Yes. Oh man, what is this show today? Indie games. That's right. But he was playing Returnal apparently. That's what he put in the doc. So
yeah.
Matt, have fun with Returnal.
Good stuff, buddy.
You're returning to Returnal.
He's returnaling.
You know what I got? I got a code for Crute.
Oh, I got a code for that too.
Yeah.
It is a game.
It is a game. It is a video game.
It is a video game that you play.
The embargo's up for impressions, I believe.
Yeah, it's very. I appreciate it for what it's trying to do.
It's very simple,
but not for what it actually is.
Yeah, it's a action platformer.
Yeah,
no, not really. It's like an action. It's an action game.
It's side-scrolling hack and slash.
Yeah, action game. And it I love the Mythos. I love the world. The art is a little, there's something about it that's off-putting, and I don't know if it's like the animations are a little bit mobile gamey or whatever.
Right.
It just feels weird. Like it looks odd to the eyeball. But I actually kind of like the moment-to-moment combat. It just seems like it kind of loses its momentum very quickly.
So I think I can pinpoint what is off-putting about it.
Okay.
It suffers from the ActRaiser remake syndrome.
Okay.
It's that art style it looks like a cheap mobile game in a lot of ways. And you can tell that it's very simple, basic ass animation, and it's not. It just
like
looks
swipe.
There's no like finesse or like depth to like the artistic vision of it, which it's fine, but it's just like mediocrity across the board.
Yeah, I don't think it's not fun. There's fun to be had there, but it doesn't have like the depth of combat that you would hope from a game that's focused solely on the hacking and slashing.
It's as if someone wanted to make a really good game and didn't have time or money to make it how they wanted
the
to
vision. Yeah.
Right. It's like, well, I'm settling for this many frames of animation for my like jump slash attack.
Right.
And maybe some things bought in an asset store, possibly.
I don't know. Well, that I'm not sure about.
Yeah. Those are the vibes I get anyway from it.
What else are you playing?
We don't usually shit on games.
We're not shitting on it. We're being honest. It's just to me, it's a lower budget title that has some flash to it, but it's really just kind of shallow.
Yeah, I think it's just overall forgettable. I got it like a month ago, and I was like, ugh. I couldn't even get that into it, to be honest. And I love those kind of games,
Yeah.
But a game I love that I'm playing a lot of, and it's only a demo right now, is a beautiful game called Kickbot.
Yes.
Kickbot is a game. It's a side-scrolling platformer, but here's the kicker, folks.
Yes.
You cannot move. Your only movement is wall jumping. So you're wall jumping into things that catapult you through the air, across platforms, over like slick, icy surfaces. And that's it. And you're just controlling that aspect. There's no like front goes front, back goes back. It's your wall jumping into things to move. And it's like a giant puzzle of a level.
Yeah.
It's like the Electhead game that came out
a while ago. You know what it reminds me a lot of? Because it plays a little bit on how it plays with physics on how the character interacts with the world. It reminds me of Hop Legs.
Yes.
Hop Legs was,
I think I think the term is like it's an unconventional side-scrolling platformer.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, it looks adorable.
Yeah, it's got gorgeous ass pixel art, which for me is like
Throw a couple of pixels in there.
Here's all the money that I have, and yeah, I just love like the idea of like reinventing what a platformer is, and this game does it in spades, and it's super addictive, and it's got that great like satisfying. I solved it, like I got past like this obstacle sensation, and you're just like, and you're not moving. It's crazy. It's fun. Wishlist it now.
Do it, cowards.
Amazing. Future guest of the show, and I'll see it here first.
Oh,
they're gonna be on the showcase.
Oh, confirmed showcase guest.
I'm just making friends all day today. I'm like, hey,
making friends, man.
Game looks cool. Come to the showcase. I'll make you rich and famous. It's my exact sales pitch, by the way.
No, we won't.
I'll make you broke and shamed.
Yeah. Anything else you want to talk about?
That's really. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I played through all of Turtles again with Richie, our good friend Richie.
Oh yeah.
He was off. Like he's actually doing some work outside of his home territory area, some like offsite.
Oh, so he's a spy.
And he's enjoying one of my favorite things in life, hotel gaming.
Ah, yes.
The best feeling ever. So I was like, and he brings the whole PS4 with him when he travels.
Yeah.
He's gone for like 2 months at a time on these like things. It's like
spy. He's a spy.
These like pop-up things that happen.
Yeah, pop-up spy.
Pop-up spy things.
Yeah.
He's
got to do some, pop-up espionage. I get it.
Exactly. So I was like, if you're at the hotel and you're like, have a free night, it's just you, let's play a game. And we just played through Turtles, start to finish, much like we did like a few weeks ago. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That game doesn't get old. Like,
Turtles is a good game.
Like I wasn't bored playing it at all.
We still play Turtles 2 and 3 and Turtles in Time. Like these games never get old. They never get boring. We love them.
They're called timeless for a reason.
Timeless. There's less time to play them. That's why they call it that. Matt put in a IndieSteal of the week here.
Ooh.
And it is called Super Puzzle Platformer Deluxe. It is on the Steams. It is $7.99, but this is an Adult Swim Games situation, and you can get 19 games for $145. They're 34% off for all of their games right now.
Where does he find these deals, dude?
So let's take a look. I mean, that's not cheap, but I have no idea what's happening in this game, but it looks like Tetris-y, but it looks like there's some sort of cannons. Let's take a look at the video. Let's do that. Adult Swim Super Puzzle Platformer Deluxe. Okay. So you have this little guy, you're making the puzzle go and making the lines disappear, but you're also jumping with the guy in the level, in the board, and you're shooting things, jumping around. There are 8 playable characters. This is the best pitch for this game ever. This is what happens when Matt puts something in and then gets poisoned by his job.
Then you in effect poison his
yeah. But yeah, so there you go. Check it out on Matt's recommendation, not mine, because I have no idea what I'm talking about. But I'm gonna check it out. It's $8, and it's a steal of the week, which means he thought of very high of this video game, very, very high of this video game. Speaking of high video games, TMNT 1 million in sales. Andy, 1 million in sales.
So this, first of all, congratulations to Tribute Games and .mu. That's like huge. I mean, I think we all kind of called this in a sense. There was no way that this game was not going to break 1 million sales like in the first week.
Yeah.
This is exactly what Turtle fans wanted from the Turtles in a video game. It's not broken. Don't fix it. Just more of this. So congratulations to the team. But I have a question for you, Stephen.
Yes, please.
I want to pose to you.
Yes.
So we often hear this idea like, does Game Pass impact sales of a game?
Here we go. Yep.
And listen, I think it's an important question to ask, because not every single game has the Turtles name the cachet behind
of
it
course,
to
of
sell
course.
it. So I have two things I want to ask you.
Yes.
How many more copies did this game would have sold if it wasn't on Game Pass? And secondly, knowing that it's the Turtles, it's a huge IP. How much do you think Microsoft paid to get this on Game Pass? Because I'm sure they knew that, listen, we don't need to have this on Game Pass for visibility because we know that it's going to sell once it's out. So you got to deep pocket this one. So what are your thoughts on that? I'm curious.
I think that it didn't impact sales as much as you think.
Oh, no, I'm not saying, yeah, okay.
Because this is the kind of game where you play it and you go, I want this everywhere. I want this. And I think like a Switch sale could have been birthed out of an
Someone
Xbox Game
buying
Pass
it on like
playthrough.
PC.
Yeah.
Like I could now want to get it for Switch. Now I gotta get it on PS4.
Yeah. Like I want to have it. Yes. And I think that that's sort of the purpose of the bigger companies putting new games out on Game Pass. To answer your other question, probably like $500,000. I would imagine. Like I can't imagine that it cost like that much to make this game. I know that the art is expensive. The voices are probably expensive. I know they've been working on it for a while, but I mean, this game made its money back hand over fist. And I think the Game Pass situation was like a way. It's kind of like a drug dealer, like give them a taste for free, but like put it everywhere else where they could also play games and like convert 10% of them. Because remember, Game Pass is what? Like 22 million homes? Like convert 10% of that and it's worth it, you know, to a sale. So I think for them, for a game like that, for an IP like that, I think it's a no-brainer to put it out there in some quarter, and because you're still making money from it,
right?
So,
you know, and it's times like this where I'm really thankful for Game Pass, because even though I know that this game has a strong audience in gamers like us who know and love the Turtles and the games that came with it when we were growing up, Game Pass kind of makes this game unavoidable. Like, it's there and you've heard about it. And if you have no interest, like, I really should try this out and see what all the fuss is about.
The target audience does not have an excuse not to play. Like, they don't have an excuse to not play this game.
Right. And at the very least, I want to say, like, DLC has got to be coming for this game at some point.
You shut your whorish mouth.
I feel like this is a guarantee.
Shut your whorish mouth.
You know, I'm not really sure how well Streets of Rage 4 did in his first week. I don't think it was these numbers. I really don't think it was.
Streets of Rage 4, I think.
And that was also on Game Pass.
Could have sold more.
If I recall. Oh, shit. Interesting. Is Microsoft leading into it was on Game Pass. I'm not sure if it was launched, but it was definitely on Game Pass.
Yeah. I will say this. Streets of Rage 4 had a barrier to entry, not just the IP, but like it was hard. That was a hard video game. It was difficult. And I think like, you know, people who remember Streets of Rage probably weren't looking for an experience that was that challenging.
Right.
People like they wanted like a Turtles experience.
Streets of Rage 4 was like, they threw like some fighting game stuff in there.
Yeah.
Very like nuanced combat, and you couldn't just mass special to beat the game.
Yeah, yeah. And bad guys were tough. And
play with six
the
people
patterns were yeah, exactly. Just cause chaos on the screen.
Yeah.
But they know what they're doing over there, and I'm very happy for them. But the tweet was really cute. It's all of the characters there doing their poses.
And every buzzword.
Yeah. We are humbled. Cowabunga, we are humbled to have so many people sharing our love of the Turtles. 1 million copies sold in its first week. Calls for a Mondo pizza party with tubular toppings.
Yo.
Thanks again to all of you all over the globe and in Dimension X.
I want to thank them for having all these turtle recommendations in my YouTube feed lately.
Mm-hmm.
Like I saw the clip of from the first movie when Shredder fights the turtles. That is such a good fucking scene. Cinematography wise, like the whole thing is like that is just a golden moment in cinema. It's just so fucking good. And then when Casey Jones does like random murder at the end.
Whoops.
Whoops, murder.
Crushed skull, no big deal.
Love it.
Uruku Saki, Uruku garbage. All right, next story here. Nordic Games has acquired Supermassive Games.
This came out of nowhere.
Did it though? Because
I don't know. Were there signs?
They owned 30% of them.
Oh well, that's the case.
They had a 30.7% stake that they purchased in 2021. They acquired 100% ownership of the UK studio Supermassive, making it the third wholly owned studio in its portfolio. Of course, Supermassive just came out with The Quarry. They have the Dark Pictures anthology, etc. And Until Dawn, which is just a huge fan favorite. But they like to make those adventure horror games, and they do a really good job at it. For the most part, they're probably batting like 75% of them are home runs.
Maybe less.
Well, I don't know. Like if you look at there's 3 Dark Pictures games now.
3 is like 6.
They didn't all come out yet.
Like there's at least 4 of these things that came out. They just announced the new one like last week or something.
There was the Medan.
Right. Little Hope.
Little Hope I heard was good. Like that one hit the mark.
Yeah. Because that was trying to be Silent Hill.
Sure.
That was like the pitch.
We're gonna make Silent Hill.
Yeah, they're like, nah, we don't want this. Okay, we'll make it into another game. I think we're on the 4th game right now.
I think so too.
Easily.
So just a little bit about Nordisk, because I don't know too much about them, but I know.
What else do they own?
So they own Avalanche.
Okay.
Who made the Mad Max game? I think that was the last one that they actually came out with.
That's a really good game too.
And that is a fun game, and that's a really talented studio too.
They're working on that. Is it Contraband for Microsoft? Is that same team? Making my Avalanche is confused.
I don't know. I don't know.
Or we're thinking of the other Avalanche that does like Just Cause. I don't know. Am I getting my Avalanche Studios mixed up? Avalanche Games and Avalanche Studios.
I don't know. But I'm thinking of the Avalanche I'm thinking of is the Mad Max people.
Right. And I think they're the ones doing that Contraband game.
Well,
I don't know, maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. We're the experts, folks.
Sure.
They have Star Stable Entertainment. They have Nitro Games, Flashbulb Games, Mercury Steam, that I've heard of.
Mercury Steam, yes. We know Mercury
and
Steam.
Kogama.
I don't know Kogama.
Its own Nordisk Games is owned by Nordisk Films.
Mm-hmm.
One of the world's oldest film companies. It produces Denmark, Norway, Sweden, and is behind PlayStation in Nordics and Baltic countries, and brings digital gift card solutions to the market. So they have their fingers in a little of everything.
All right. Well, like most acquisition news, I feel like it's customary to say like it's a shame to see like the industry shrink a little bit. But when one gets absorbed, like 20 pop up elsewhere, so no big deal. And I hope that, and I'm glad it's not Tencent. That's the other flip side of this.
Or THQ Nordic.
Right. But I hope that being like fully acquired now, I would love to see them move away because I have the Quarry sitting still unwrapped. I'm just so bad because again, work is killing me. Quarry sitting there. That's next on the list. I want to see more of that from them.
Yeah, stay out of their way.
Yeah.
You bought them for a reason. Let them make the games they like.
Right.
And that's it.
I want to see more of what they are good at, more full-blown, like Until Dawn-sized horror games.
Mm-hmm.
Not these bite-sized cheap bullshits that they're cranking out for Namco Bandai. No more of that. That can go away.
Go away.
Go away.
Speaking of going away, Andy, I have a question for you. So last week we spoke about the Lollipop Chainsaw remake.
Oh yeah,
You were not on the show, but you You did put some more news in here.
Yes, there's this development that I want to kind of get into.
So yeah, get into this a little bit because this is weird.
Right. So the news first broke. I read the headline: Lollipop Chainsaw Remake. And I thought, okay, remake. As far as I know, I'm thinking in terms of Final Fantasy, Shadow of the Colossus, Demon Souls, Resident Evil 2, something ground up ish for the current generation of systems. Sounds cool. Then I read this note that they put out today, and I was scratching my head.
Yasuda put it out.
So I couldn't really make sense of it in any tangible way. I was like, this wording seems very bizarre. So I'm gonna pull it up right now, and we'll go through it together, and we'll see what he said. Let's pull up the tweet. There's like a little side-by-side English-Japanese translation.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get to the good bits here. Okay. The primary goal of the Lollipop Chainsaw Remake project is to make it so that players who wish to play Lollipop Chainsaw can do so easily, not to make a new Lollipop Chainsaw game. Okay, it's fair. It's been a while since the game first came out. I get it.
There's no backwards, PS3 to PS5 is difficult, yada, yada.
I don't think it's on any sort of like streaming service, be it on PS Plus or on the Microsoft side for BC with like how the disc works. Not quite so sure. Of course, the ideal thing to do would be to make a remastered version of the original game, changing nothing. So now we have the term remastered kind of tossed in there, and I'm thinking, okay, you could do that. Just look an upres and like do this and call it a day. However, we were unfortunately unable to include 16 of the licensed songs, which were a great part of the original game's feel. So we are instead aiming for a remake that is as close as possible to a remaster. That sentence is like aneurysm. Because what does that fucking mean?
So
because I'm looking at like Crisis Core Reunion for PlayStation and Xbox PC, and I think it's on Switch also. It's a PSP remaster, but they're like, there's new character models, there's like a UI overhaul, combat fixes, full voiceover. That you can say it's a remaster that's as close as possible to a remake.
Right.
So I don't get what this is trying to say.
So the reason this came out, the reason why it was a response to fans that are worried that the game is going to be changed in a drastic way from what it originally was. So the tone of this is to say, no. This game is really closer to a remaster. Like the game is in its spirit and in its story beats and its characters and the aesthetics and everything is going to be exactly the same. Unfortunately, we can't have the same music. So don't really look at it as a remake because we're not remaking, the story and I think whatever.
They're taking the term remake as in a literal, like
they're remaking the game.
What we would call the reimagining, I think, is like, here's the core players, but we're changing the look of the main character. We're changing all the storyline beats. It's a remake. It's different. It's fun. It's new. But they're saying it's a remaster where like everything is the same that story, plot, characters, gameplay, but it's being redone in a new engine with the same people-ish, with new graphics that are ultra realistic, apparently, with more tight gameplay. And we're going to remake these 16 tracks that we can't get a hold of because of licensing issues.
Right.
Now, one more thing I want to talk about, which touches on what you mentioned before, is the last bit about this statement.
Yeah.
Okay. They talk about Julie's design.
Right, because she's mostly naked.
Right. So right when this announcement came out, people figured that it's current year, and Julie's design is, some would see it as archaic, like this big busty blonde character that's all sex appeal and just tits. Like, we've evolved past this in a society, and there's no room for her in
we
that form.
We live in a society now.
We've evolved beyond that.
Yes.
When I say here's Bayonetta and case closed, like, no, we still have this, plenty of room for this. So they were trying to squash this, they called a baseless rumor of like they would change the look of Julie in this remake to, like, I guess, address current PC culture. Like, well, you can't have her being too sexy because that's not a real woman. It doesn't reflect what women are.
I know,
so
plenty of sexy women.
True. So they were like, listen, we're not, yeah, of course. So am I. We're not going to censor the game in any way. But here's the caveat. Finally, we learned after the announcement of Lollipop Chainsaw Remake that many fans are worried about censorship in the game. We have not yet discussed the issue with the platform holders yet, and thus cannot say anything about the topic. But what we can say is that we intend to negotiate with the platform holders to make it so that the game can be as close to the original version as possible, which is a fun way of saying, if Microsoft or Sony say you can't have this, we have to negotiate her sex appeal or some of the scenes in this remake, which is a little upsetting that that's even a conversation, but it's where we are. Because
I really don't think it's where we are, Andy.
Well,
I don't think, I think that people are scared for nothing. She's in a cheerleader outfit. She's not 15.
Listen,
she's not a 13-year-old girl.
I get it.
It'll be fine. We still get Dead or Alive volleyball. Like, we don't, let's not care about this.
We get Oni Chambara, like Zombie Hunter, we get Galagun, we get all of it. I know we do. I'm just saying, this game, I can see it having a spotlight cast on it because it's all sex appeal.
Maybe don't use the original cover where it's a seductive cheerleader.
Yeah, you gotta have that
with a lollipop. Like, maybe just be like the face. Listen, Harley Quinn style. I
have no skin in the game whatsoever, Steve, but you don't like my big titty protagonist. And if you touch,
I do know
if you touch any of her cup size, I will revolt.
I mean, it's not like it's egregious. Like, she's not showing too much cleavage here. She's got a shirt on.
But listen, I feel like
were there jiggle physics in the original?
No, I don't think there were.
Yeah, see, like, what are we worried about?
Use those. I feel. Listen. I understand the. I understand the sentiment. Like, we've evolved past the point of characters being purely designed around sex appeal. I get it. Like, not everyone's a hot, like, 6-pack dude with like fucking muscly chest and like melons for muscles.
But we still get Marcus Phoenix,
right? But you get it, yeah. But you can have both. You can have your E Hondas and like your Marcus Phoenixes. You can have both things. You can have like a frumpy, ordinary looking character, and I'm fine with that. But let's not get rid of our sexy characters. That's all I'm really saying. There's room for everyone in this industry.
Yeah. So
don't change it, because I want Julie titties.
The Buzz is put in from Platinum Games that Bayonetta 3 has the naive angel mode, which basically just puts more clothes on Bayonetta.
Right. Sure, do that. If you feel like you want to play the game with, fully clothed it up.
Because remember, her
not showing any skin.
Because remember, her hair is her clothing.
Correct.
So.
Right. But I think back to your point, I think it's Tempest in a Teapot. It's nothing. It's like, I think like this game is so off the wall crazy. Like, I trust them to go with their original vision, and they'll negotiate the right path if it ever comes to it.
May I ask you something?
Yeah, sure.
Do people complain when you can run around in your bra and panties in Elden Ring and Dark Souls and Demon Souls and Demon Blade and Blood Cox. And...
No, I don't think they did. What the complaint is that you're able to make that character like heavy set or like plump or like a wide range of body types.
Okay.
And like people may say that this doesn't represent every
I
woman,
understand.
but
I understand.
then again, not every character should.
Right. I'm not Charlton Heston.
Not everything is a.
Why was that the first person I just came out
I don't know.
Charlton Heston?
Yeah.
What?
All right.
Speaking of sexy, Andy, let's move on.
Let's move on, Steven.
Unreal Engine 5 makes indie development easy, says ex-Bethesda developer. Here's a quote here for the tagline. This is coming from Exputa. Quote, 10 years ago, there was no way I would have thought it was a good idea to make an open world game by myself. I'm gonna go into the tweet here from Nate Perkypile.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people ask me why I left to be a solo indie dev after 14 years of Bethesda working on games like Fallout 3, Skyrim, Fallout 4, Fallout 76, and Starfield. There's a lot of reasons why, so I figured I'd do a little thread on it. I want to read this because it's really cool. And there's some pictures here of some screenshots. Fallout 3, Skyrim, Fallout 4 all won a ton of Game of the Year awards. Each time I made one of those games, I tried my best to make it the best possible game it could be. For instance, from Fallout 3 to Skyrim to Fallout 4, I worked with people like Joe Burgess, to make levels far more unique. So while some people would love to work on The Elder Scrolls 6 or Fallout 5, I made my best version of The Elder Scrolls in Fallout. I spent a decade of my life on the Fallout franchise alone. Can it be done better? Maybe, but I'd rather leave that up to somebody else. That's admirable. I also enjoy working on smaller teams. When I started, the team of Fallout 3 was around 65 people. Skyrim was around 110. Now it's something like 500 people across 4 companies. Wow. I didn't realize that. More people don't necessarily get more done. Tools have here's where it gets interesting. Tools have improved dramatically over the years. 10 years ago, there was no way I would have thought it was a good idea to make an open world game by myself. Now there are things like Unreal 5, Houdini, VR sculpting, Megascans, a lot of other tools. I also want to do something that's my own vision, not someone else's. I knew at this point if I didn't do it, I would regret it forever. So I'm doing it. So now I'm making the Axis Unseen as a solo indie dev. In my game, you hunt monsters from folklore, and it has a heavy metal soundtrack. This is the game I want to make, not the game I'm being told to make. I hope other people find it interesting as well. And then there's a Steam, thing here.
Two things,
dude. Yes. Unreal Engine 5 is gonna change the game.
Right. It's you look at this guy's game. And you wouldn't think solo indie dev by looking at it. That's my first thought. Like, this looks like a team effort of like industry veterans putting this thing together. And it just looks beautiful. And I'm thinking, he's got open DMs, Steven. You know what that means? He's going to get hit up as soon as this podcast is over.
We're hitting that. Ooh. You could see the oh my god, yeah, this looks beautiful.
This looks amazing.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Check it out on Steam. It's something to keep our eyes on. The Axis Unseen. Looks like a first-person RPG adventure.
It's a horror hunting simulator.
Yeah.
In an open world with monsters from folklore.
Indeed.
Oh, good God, look at this design.
This
looks like a whole team. It's like a look at this. I can't believe one person did this. I cannot get over it.
Heck, yeah. Our chat is requesting a link. Oh, there we go. Never mind.
There you go. Throw it in.
It's in there. Thank you, Buzz. By the way, you can watch our show live, twitch.tv/dual screen streams, just like Buzz Killington is right now, and other folk. Andy,
Steven,
Kickstarter of the week.
Oh yeah, I found a game that was
in
my inbox today, I think.
Yes. And I think, yes, this is the one I was thinking.
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you tell us about this one?
Black Jewel Reborn. It is a new game for the Mega Drive, Genesis, NES, Famicom, Game Boy, SNES, and Super Famicom. It's a lot of stuff for it to be on.
Yeah.
And yet here it is. This launched, I believe, today. Has already raked in $7,400 out of $40K. So they're pretty good for the first day.
Yeah.
Hitting their stride. There is a demo out also. So if you can drop that link, I can give it to you right now, Steve.
I'm just going to put the Kickstarter in the chat.
Oh, sure. Oh, sure. So this.
Oops, that's a broken link. Sorry.
This is like an old school, classic side-scrolling hacky slash. You know what that game wanted to be. What was it called again? Kroot, that we were talking about before. It's what that game aspires to be. It looks like, a very well put together.
Oh, you could do a short link. Never mind.
Classic, like retro pixel art.
There we go.
Genesis, SNES side-scrolling.
Yeah,
game.
like they're making like,
but it's co-op.
I don't understand how they can make that many different versions of this game.
Yeah, the Game Boy thing kind of
that threw me off.
Because looking at this, you'd think it would not run on a Game Boy. It's got way too many colors in that palette.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it doesn't look like that in the Game Boy version.
Oh, there's like special moves and shit. Oh, this looks so cool. Man, co-op side scroller.
Oh yeah, okay. So if you scroll down more, you'll see the difference.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, that's retro art right there. That's pretty cool, folks. If you're not, go to Kickstarter and check out Black Jewel Reborn.
So is it like a graphics thing, or like you click like the NES mode, Game Boy mode, and it just changes? Like,
I don't know, because they run on the engines,
right?
So no, it's probably. Oh, look at that Game Boy one. That's great. That's great.
Yo, this is pretty cool.
Yeah,
and they're selling cartridges too, like physical cartridges.
Yeah.
As they should.
But yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's old school. That's like when they used to have like 6 different developer studios making the same game across multiple platforms, because like Nintendo and Sega couldn't have the same game, so they're like slightly different.
It looks like Conan the Barbarian and Red Sonja in the game together.
Yeah.
It looks so cool. Got that classic, like it's like a Castlevania kind of vibe.
It's got He-Man vibes, yeah. Like,
right.
Like Saturday morning cartoon
He-Man
circa 1983.
and She-Ra.
Yeah,
this is pretty cool. I'm into it.
But I like those platformy games. It looks like it's gonna be hard as hell.
Yeah, can't wait.
Like that was that game, Heroes of Might and Magic 3 on NES.
Oh my
that game
God.
was fucking pain in the balls. What a pain in the ass that game was.
That was a huge pain in the ass.
That was called Iron Sword, I think.
Iron Sword, yeah.
Iron Sword, Heroes of Might and Magic 3, and it was like it had Fabio on the cover.
So good.
Horrible.
Yo, that was like on Nintendo Power too, like the whole cover art.
Yeah, I remember that. Yep. All right, let's check our mailbag, see if we got anything in there. No, that was from the last one. Okay, that was from last week. No problem. Oh, my camera died. Oh, no, it didn't. There we go. I can't look at things on that camera. I apologize. Thank you for telling me that. I have to work. I just got this camera set up like right before we hit record, so I do apologize if at any point my camera went away, because it's capturing my monitor, not the camera right now. So correct. I do apologize for that. But this was a good show. I learned a lot of things today.
Yeah, man.
And if there's one thing that you should all do, you should listen to Demon Steve, who is going to tell you that you should go to Patreon, okay? And buy.
Oh boy.
Go to patreon.com/2screens and give us your money. Thank you very much for why the lights behind me just start flashing? What the hell is that about?
God's gonna come get you for what you just did. I've had enough of your shit, Fontana. Head up to here with your bullshit.
Give us your money on 2 screens. Thank you so much for listening to this babble. This was a great show. Thank you, Andy, for being here. Thank you, viewers and listeners. And as always, please play some indie games.
And please, don't die, Matt.
Matt.
Please get unpoisoned in a timely fashion.
Please be nice. Please be nice.
Be nice to your insides.
I love you.